Hello and welcome to the Art of Action Figures, bringing you an in-depth look at the Bandai Tamashii Nations SH Figuarts Android 20 from the Dragon Ball Z action figure line. Android 20 is the first new SH Figuarts release for 2024. He is a follow-up to last year's Android 19, which came out at the tail end of 2023. I think between the two, 20 is maybe a little bit more anticipated, just due to the character being around a little bit longer and playing a bit bigger role in the story. Android 19 is pretty much there to pump up Super Saiyan Vegeta and get toasted. 20 obviously is also Dr. Gero, so the mastermind behind the whole Android arc. He may be a little bit more posable as an action figure, and so I think those things contribute maybe to a little bit more anticipation for this figure. Personally, I'm looking forward to seeing how he compares to 19. I think their costumes complement each other really well. In addition to seeing how he pairs up with 19, I have the full power Super Saiyan Goku, since this Android 20 includes a little DLC faceplate for the Super Saiyan Full Power Goku Heart Attack face. We'll do some comparisons with a few other figures. We'll go over all the accessories, swapping them out, articulation, all that jazz. If you like jazz, you've come to the right place. The box dimensions for comparison. Here is the Android 19 box. You can see a little bit wider, a little bit taller, about the same depth or thickness. And then compared to Super Saiyan Full Power Goku, which is more of a standard box shape, compared to the Full Power Goku, about the same height, a little bit thicker, not quite as tall as Android 19, and then about the same width as Goku as well, but not quite as wide as 19 once again. Looking at the accent color, we've got this sort of brownish orange compared to 19's light orange color. This is not quite the brown of his pants, so I'm not sure exactly where they've taken this color from. Usually they take the box accent color from something on the character, but in this case his pants are a bit darker. You can see the figure posed in an action pose. The cutout for the window follows along the outline of the figure, pretty standard for Figuarts. Down here you will see a Tamashii Nations quality holographic sticker. This is also your authenticity sticker. Ages 15 and up, warning, choking hazards, small parts, not for children under 3 years, product may differ from photo. Bandai, Tamashii Nations, Dragon Ball Z, something I can't read. Toei Animation, another holographic sticker. Just another indicator that this is authentic. Designed by Tamashii Nations in Japan, Bandai Spirits, made in Vietnam. SH Figuarts, Android 20. We'll spin to this side first because it's always boring. Android 20, Android 20, a little bit of window. Same on top, a little bit of window. Continues the black and white photograph from the front of the box on top, just with his dome. Bottom of the box, shouting face. Android 20, wearing the hat this time. On the right hand side, this is your bookcase side. If you're like me, you got the absorbing hand up top, scowling looking to the side face in the middle, and then on the bottom, this close-up of his vest. Okay, and finally around the back, we have little blurbs about what the SH Figuarts brand is all about, posed in his battle-ready stance, same as the picture on the front. There's the full body now. We can see looking up, reaching out to absorb with a neutral face. I think this is more of the smirking face. Scowling with the hat removed and the dome part swapped on, which will be swappable onto any of the heads, I believe. We'll try that out. Shouting with glee that he has bamboozled everyone and he's going to steal all of their energy. Android 19 just poking up there next to 20 with the side eye. Then here, once again, reaching up, getting that sweet, sweet energy, and then flying away, running away. He does a lot of that. I bought this from Premium Bandai. It's distributed by Bandai Namco Toys and Collectibles America Inc. This is your information if you need any support. Okay, yeah, let's go ahead and crack them open. Trusty hobby knife. I'm just gonna slice the tape on the side here. Slice the tape on the right hand side and gently insert the knife below the flap, push towards the back of the box and pop. Same on the other end. And there you go, you get a nice clean open flap, no wrinkling. Pulling him out of the box, we'll see some instructions printed on the inside on this inner panel. Here we see the instructions for changing out the interchangeable hat or dome piece, swappable faces, details about optional face part for Son Goku. Inside the box, we've got that luscious brown chocolate orange going on. Chocolate and orange, underrated flavor combo. But yeah, that's about it. I think there's more instructions printed on the back of this flap, but I'm not going to dig them out. If you really need all the information, these instructions are also available online. So you can check them out on Tamashii Nation's website. We have a total of 4 interchangeable face parts, including scowl looking forward, scowling looking to the side, smirking a little bit, looking forward, shouting with glee, about to absorb all your energy. We also get the heart virus Goku face, 4 pairs of hands including fists, chopping hands, martial art 2-finger hands, and open energy absorbing hand. And then he also has an additional special left hand, it looks like, for holding this remote. This is to activate or deactivate 17 and 18. We get his swappable cranium here with the exposed brain circuitry going on. Pretty creepy. And this damaged arm. I forget how his arm gets damaged. Does 17 rip it off? I'm not sure. But now when I'm opening the tray, I'm going to lay him back so that the accessories don't fall out because they're just resting in the tray. And only the seal of the lid is keeping them in place. So you want to be careful not to do this like in a car, a train, anything like that. Pull him up by his little tummy tab. And then these little tabs are usually there. I don't know if it's there just for protecting certain components from rubbing against each other in transit. Or if it's just there as a, like, here's a way to lift the figure out of the tray if you want. But in general, they'll have like a long tab sticking off the front like this, and you can just pull that, and they'll usually come out. They're usually cut on one side. So there you go. Some interesting stuff going on. He's got different butterfly joints in the shoulder compared to 19. Obviously different hair. With some articulation on the hair, different type of hat, different colors all over his costume. He's got a 2.0 hip cap, which is a little strange since 19 did not have that. Nothing squeaking, nothing stuck. His poofs on the shoulders look really good. They have a little bit of shading on them. His vest, unlike 19's, is painted. His design's very similar to 19, but they've implemented it a little bit differently. I noticed that he has a new, or slightly different from 19, butterfly joint at his shoulder. The construction of his vest is a little different, with it all seeming to be a solid piece with paint instead of separate tie and button pieces that 19 has. His shoulder poofs have shading on them that matches the shading on 19's pants. This arm, for whatever reason, is a little easy to remove. Not sure if it's not plugged in all the way. It seems like it is. It has 2.0 hip caps, which is a little surprising since 19 does not. Very similar shoulder poof design compared to 19 as well. Moving down, we have the pants just done in solid brown. Range on those hips looks to be a little limited, but we'll go over it all. Similar with the knees. And then it doesn't seem like there's a swivel at the top of his boot, but it's okay. There's a double ball style ankle. And it seems to be working really well. So there's your quick overview. If we zoom in to his face, I'm not sure. It looks like his mustache is a separate part. The earrings appear to be painted this sort of bronze color. The hat obviously is a separate part. Sideburns are painted on each head. Red ribbon logo on the hat is painted on. And then the hat just pops off. This would allow me to replace the alternate dome and change the face. So maybe let's go ahead and do that next. Okay, I've pulled the default face towards the front, and you can see it just the alternate face expression here just slides on if you push it on the front, and then the dome is keyed, so it goes on this specific Nebraska. To swap on an alternate hand, we're just gonna get in close here on the wrists, pull away. That's not too hard. Here you can see he has the standard ball hinge wrist. And I'm gonna swap on his like clenched right hand, and that goes on very easily. Good. Okay. I suppose these are not martial arts style hands. It's more of a just kind of regular clench hand. Go ahead and put the remote in his other hand. Okay, the remote holding hand and remote went on very easily. You can see the remote holding hand is a little bit square shaped, and then the remote just kind of slides into that square. Be very careful with this part, it's quite small. The wrinkles on the damaged arm match the right side, so I'm going to assume this is meant for the right arm, and the right arm, the forearm comes off a little bit easier. The left forearm, I wasn't able to pull it off, and I don't want to try pulling it any harder, so I think this is meant for this arm. We'll do a little close-up of the cranium real quick. Some more organic design on the inside compared to 19, which is kind of more circuitry. But that's a great expression. To replace the hat, he doesn't come with a little stick like 19 to pop the hat, so what you can do instead is remove the face. But when you remove these faces, be very, very, very careful not to pull the mustache, because it will flex a little bit and it might pull off of the face. So just grab him behind the ears, get a good solid grip on him behind the ears and pull forward, and that will allow you to get the face off without pulling the mustache off. Very important. Okay, and then once you've pulled the face, you can see you have a little bit of leverage to just pop the dome right off at the top. Okay, and then to reapply the face, just slide it on there, and you can slide the head down on that Nebraska. And there we go. Got him back in default. And the final accessory included with Android 20 is for the Super Saiyan Full Power Goku. You can take your Goku having a heart virus display to the next level with this sweaty, out of breath face. And here you can see how it compares to one of the existing faces for full power Super Saiyan Goku. And let's just go ahead and take the grimacing face, cast it aside real quick. And there you go. That is some authentic Goku having a heart virus representation. So not necessarily completely essential. Like I said, if you've got the grimacing face, you're already most of the way there, but I'm okay with that. Because if you don't get Android 20, you're not missing anything too essential. But it is nice. You can also, I guess, use this for, I don't know, getting really intense training or something. Next, we'll go over his articulation. To look up, he has a ball hinge in the hair, so it can open and close like that to lift the hair up almost 90 degrees, so that's pretty solid. Let's make sure his arms are level here. And then a ball hinge from between the hair, back hair, and the neck, and then a ball peg between the neck and the torso, and all of that combined, he doesn't look up very much. That's about as much as I could get, which 30 degrees if I'm generous. Looking down, I think he'll do a little bit better. Yeah, and then you can use the hinge, the ball hinge on the hair to close the gap. That works pretty well. Arms obviously have this swivel at the shoulder. The bicep has another swivel at the base of the sleeve. The elbow gets really good range all the way up to the sleeve, about 135 degrees, so that's great. For crunch, I think that there's either a double or single ball peg at the top and then another single ball peg between the waist and the lower abdomen. Altogether, he can crunch forward combined with the head. If you put it all together, and then let's push the hair down for full effect. Yeah, that's not bad. Actually, angle of the arms, that's almost 45. And then looking down, that's pretty straight down. That's really good. Looking up, I think it's going to suffer a little bit more, but let's see. I'm trying to keep that belt from riding up, but every time I push it down, it just springs back up. It's not a tremendous amount. Again, about 30 degrees tilting back on the torso, and then another 30 at the face, so I don't know, 60 degrees. Has 2.0 style hips, so it's the swivel hinge mechanism with the floating cap. The thigh swivel is pretty well incorporated into the sculpt there and looks pretty good. Really nice range going forward. The belt piece kind of slides up as he kicks, so he can kick past 90 going up. Going back though, it's a little bit limited because he runs just the sculpt of the hip cap here crashes into the crotch, so he can't. It's kind of like the Super Saiyan Vegeta and Trunks armored. What you can do is to get a front back split, you kind of got to do what you would do with a 3.0 figure and just rotate the waist a little bit, and he can get it pretty effectively. Then at the knees, double hinge, pretty nice full sculpt on the back of the hinge, so that's good. On the front, he does have a kneecap, and that also has a pretty good complete sculpt, but the range isn't great. They only get about 90 degrees, a little bit past. And then there's a little bit of a gap at the bottom of the cap there. His boot cuffs don't swivel, but the ankles are a double ball peg or a barbell joint, and they get a pretty decent range going down. the toe hinge doesn't really point down, but then going up, let's see, ankles don't get a ton of range going up, but that's where the toe hinge comes in. Okay, I think that's everything. Wrists, let's see, ball hinge, and so they go down and up, but you can swivel them around, in and out. Works well. Okay, next up, let's get him in a T-pose and we'll do the side-to-side range. This is pretty interesting design. I actually really like the way they've done this shoulder. The hinge is like inside the sleeve, so you can kind of see just a little bit at the top of the opening if you put the arm all the way down, even like exaggerated past what it would normally be. And that's to allow basically this inner hinge to have a path that it can swivel up through, and then this lower piece just kind of slides over the top of the upper part of the poof. And so he actually gets beyond, a little bit beyond a T-pose. Okay. Tilting at the neck. It's mostly coming from the neck joint. If you really wanted, you could maybe swivel the head around on the ball hinge and use the hinge to get a little more tilt, but I don't really want to do that. We talked about the hair. It is on a swivel hinge, so it can swivel around back here and blow to one side or the other. Tilt in the torso. That's about the extent that I'm getting. That's 30 degrees maybe again. And then kicking to the side, it's a little bit limited. Side split 45 on that leg, together 45 in both directions. Ankle pivot is good, 45 degrees at least, so that complements the hips, 45. Not bad for an old geezer. Let's see. Can you fake the side splits front, back? Kinda. Not as well as like full power Goku. Let's talk about these shoulders. They're a specialty kind of joint here. Interesting. It's almost the newer like 3.0 style. That is a surprisingly good shoulder design. I guess it can go in, so that would allow him to raise his arms, yeah, up and touch his hands together over his head. Let's see, going forward. Oh yeah, wow. Surprisingly good butterfly joint range going forward. He can pretty much like cross his hands fairly easily. And then going backwards, it's going to be tricky to show with his hair, but I'll do my best. Going backwards, he doesn't get quite as much range as he does going forward, but it's still pretty good, pretty close to touching hands behind the back. Yeah, very surprisingly good shoulders on this guy. Cool. Okay. That is everything for articulation. All right, and here we see 19 and 20, and you can see that 20 is almost the same height, a little bit taller than 19. Android 20 maybe has a little bit of height on 19, but not too much. And I think that works well. If you're already okay with the height on 19, which I covered in my Android 19 review, you'll probably be okay with the height on 20. here you can see Vegeta as well is taller than both of them. And here's Android 20 next to some more of the Z fighters. We have Earth's strongest man, Krillin, and Piccolo, the proud Namekian warrior. While we were hanging out with Krillin, I wanted to try putting the remote that comes with the Android 20 into Krillin's martial arts pose hand, and it works perfectly. It actually stays securely in his hand, fits the sculpt pretty well, so you got this kind of option as well. I think the original release of Android 18 maybe came with a detonator part for Krillin 1.0, but the event exclusive version, which I have here, did not. This is a pretty cool, unexpected little treat for being able to pose these two in such a way. Now we just need Cell Saga Android 18. I hope they would be willing to make Cell Saga 18 without like requiring that she be paired with another release of Android 17, because he doesn't really have a second look other than maybe like the GT look with the jacket. They could do Super Android 17 and Cell Saga 18. I also want them to do GT Android 18. And for some more scale checking here, you can see 17 and 18 are pretty much identical height, so they're just a little bit shorter than Android 20. Next up, checking if 17 can hold the remote. He sure can. He comes with this specific gripping hand, and I don't actually know what it's for. I don't think it's for his pistol. Maybe it was for the remote that originally came with 18, but it works really nicely. He can also hold it in the martial arts pose hand like Krillin, but this gives you even more options, so pretty nice. And here's Gero with another one of his creations, Android 16. And you can see how their size compares to 17 and 18. I think these all look pretty fabulous together. And here we have another one of Gero's beautiful creations. It's the Imperfect Cell. And here we have the Awkward Family Photos Red Ribbon Edition with Android 16, Android 20, and Lab Coat Android 21. As you know, Android 16 is modeled on Gero's son with her. Don't think about that too long. And as you can see, Lab Coat 21 also is able to hold the remote. Unlike 17 and Krillin, though, she kind of just cradles it in her hand. It's not a perfect locked in grip. You can see it's just kind of resting in there. And no awkward family photo is complete without awkwardly eliminating parts of the family or adding them back in. And here we have the addition of cousins who are a bad influence. And zooming out, here we have the extended family with Android 19 and Imperfect Cell rounding things out. 19, the only other family member who got the memo about the dress code. I suppose 17 at least got the colors right. Imperfect Cell and 16 seem to be on their own page, as do 18 and 21. And don't forget to take one with spouses included as well. Pretty solid figure overall. I think he pretty much meets my expectations. The shoulder joints were a pleasant surprise. The leg articulation is a little bit limited, but it's not the end of the world for me. I don't need every old man action figure to be doing 180-degree splits. The Goku DLC is fine. It's nice, but it's not an essential, so if you don't have it, you're not missing out on too much. And the portability of the remote for other figures to be able to hold is a nice surprise as well. 17 able to hold it. Android 21 lab coat version is able to hold it. Krillin's able to hold it. That was a nice surprise. So, yeah, overall, I am pretty satisfied. I think they did a really nice job with this pair. They're perfect for premium Bandai releases. I think the only family members to add to this picture would be 13, 14, and 15. Oh, and I guess the superhero figures. So Gamma 1 and 2, which I do not have. And I guess if they ever made a figure for Hedo and Cell Max, which I doubt, but who knows? That is your look at Android 20, aka Dr. Gero. This has been the Art of Action Figures. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.